Portland Mayor Keith Wilson called the Portland ICE facility a, quote, disaster waiting to happen in a new op-ed for Newsweek. He cited an accident chain of small mistakes or oversights that he believes could lead to that disaster, including Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's visit 2 weeks ago and the lack of serious conversations the two were able to have. The reduced standards for those working for ICE, the reportedly growing number of immigrant deaths in ICE facilities, and most notably, the Trump administration's rhetoric, calling Portland a burning war zone. Mayor Wilson wrapped up his article with a message for Noem saying, quote, every accident is preventable and you are running out of time to prevent one in Portland. Developing this morning, city and state leaders are telling the feds to stop using tear gas and pepper spray at the protests at that ICE facility in South Portland. K2's Joe English is live there this morning. Joe, we've seen pepper balls and tear gas deployed for weeks now, right? But now Oregon lawmakers are raising their concerns about the health impacts. What are they saying here?
Yeah, it's mainly recently been happening on the weekends, so those lawmakers are concerned not only about the short-term effects, but the long-term effects as well. Think back to 5 years ago when it was happening every night, and people who live near the ICE facility, well, they tell us they are also worried about those very same things because those protests do continue at the ICE facility, and residents and local leaders pleading to the federal government to stop using the chemical weapons. The CDC says the gas can irritate your eyes, lungs, and skin and can cause long-term eye and breathing problems. People who live in the apartments and condos by the ICE building say the gas does seep into their homes, and even people who run or ride their bikes through the area or maybe just there for a short time for the protest say they can feel the lasting effects.
For the most part, the tear gas and whatnot, I mean, that's what it is. You can kind of stay there for a while and snark at them and whatever, but then you got to go away. Yeah, it lingers, like cough in the throat, like for a while. Back there, washing your eyes out, it's not good.
Now, in that letter to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, Senators Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley and 4 representatives said that federal agents are using excessive force to control the crowd outside the ICE facility. They looked back to 2020 and said at least 24 women who were exposed to tear gas in Oregon were later reported with significant abnormalities in their menstrual cycles. Now, you can see that full letter from the Oregon lawmakers to DHS on our website, katu.com. In Northeast Portland, Joe English, K2
Let's talk about the chemicals in this tear gas. Joe, what can you tell us about whether or not they're legal? I'm sure a lot of people are wondering that.
Right. I'm no scientist, so I can't talk directly about the chemicals, but it's interesting when you look at the legality of all this. There's really still a big question, like so many things going back and forth, not only in discussion, but in the courts. The legality of this can be a complicated one. We're told that the use has to be justified, but that, again, might be open to interpretation. Recently, a federal judge in Chicago banned federal agents using tear gas on anybody who does not impose an immediate threat to safety. But again, Angelica, what exactly does that mean? That's probably going to end up in some sort of litigation.
Yeah, and we'll be tracking it, Joe. Thank you. Portland police say undercover informants are helping officers respond to incidents at the ICE facility. Some protesters say the tactic erodes community trust. The Bureau says it's taking a proactive approach to prevent crime.
They should be protecting the community. They shouldn't be working undercover.
We will use resources to be able to identify those that are committing crimes.
Now, the Bureau says the tactic is not new, and it's a response to pushback over heavy police presence at smaller protests. The Bureau would not confirm if the informants are paid. They did say they are not federal agents. 2 immigrant rights groups filed a federal lawsuit accusing immigration authorities of denying detainees access to legal counsel. This lawsuit claims that since June, there have been at least 20 cases of detainees either being denied access to an attorney or being secretly transferred out of state. Attorneys claim on multiple occasions federal officers denied lawyers access to their detained clients, even when the attorneys presented signed representation forms.
All people have constitutional rights, and what ICE is doing in our communities is violating the law, and they cannot do that.
Now, those suing are asking a federal judge to issue an emergency order requiring ICE to stop transferring detainees before they can speak to legal counsel and to guarantee confidential attorney access at federal facilities in Oregon. DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin responded to the lawsuit, saying in part, quote, all detainees are provided ample opportunity to communicate with their attorneys and family members.
This is democracy. This is people in the street exercising our First Amendment rights.
I think it's a joke. I looked at the people. They're not representative of this country.
President Trump is slamming the millions of people who attended No Kings rallies this weekend in protest of his administration. In Portland, tens of thousands of people took to the streets, many dressed, as you can see, in inflatable costumes. PPB says the march lasted about 3 hours. They didn't make any arrests, but it did give way to tense scenes at the ICE facility later in the day with 3 arrests there.